just got this bike to this point in the build. We got the coolant system taken off, and sadly the guy used regular car antifreeze inside of this. Now you don't want to use antifreeze that's corrosive to aluminum, being the reason it corroded inside of our aluminum. So insert clip real quick of nasty stuff we found in the water pump. To take care of that, we're gonna have to take the clutch cover off and probably rebuild the water pump. Was hoping we weren't gonna have to do that, but our Kickstarter spindle was also a little bit worn, so that's not terrible. That's what we're gonna do about it. After that, we're gonna do a quick time lapse of taking all this garbage off of the rear end, including the shock, swing arm, brake system, and rear wheel, and then we'll take this monstrous power plant out of the frame. So start time lapse. Just got the carburetor taken out of here and the stator cover taken off, and I'm super excited to say that the stator is in beautiful shape. There's not any rust on it besides that little bit of surface rust. That is awesome. Normally these things are caked up with rust, so I know there wasn't water getting in here. Really happy to see that. Sadly to say, I haven't taken this off right now, but I will real quick actually for you. Take this off real quick. So here's the thing that happened, and this is really dumb, and I guess you could say, and people do this, sometimes people screw up, but the sprocket was on backwards. I don't know, it's a pretty chewed sprocket. I don't think he ran it the other way, but here it is. Look at all this garbage packed up in there. In between the case and the sprocket in here, and he had the sprocket running backwards, so you're supposed to have this spacer on the inside, especially if you're gonna run an O-ring chain. Here, let me pick up that because I dropped it, but especially if you're running an O-ring chain, because it makes the chain wider. Really chewed up the cases. I'm happy that we got to it before it went through and started leaking. I don't see it leaking. Sucks that that happened, but I'm not going to do anything to it unless I absolutely have to. And we won't do that unless it needs a bottom end. So, I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not good. So, that's all of what was packed in there. It's a garbage sprocket. Alright, let's grab this beast. Ooh. So good. Alright. Ooh, yeah, it's a little bit heavier than a 125. Motors out. Good job. you got to see us take the entire frame apart, and everything's now on the benches. Our power plant right here is looking pretty good, but you got some corrosion in there, as we've stated before, along with some case wear. So we're going to go ahead and take care of that, get this engine taken apart, and hopefully it doesn't need too many other parts, but whatever parts it needs, it's going to get, because I love making my bikes fancy.